Hello and welcome to UR2D Formula E. We are here for the qualifying session for the Monaco ePrix. This almost requires no introduction. It is Monaco, baby. There is no two ways about it. An amazing grid that we have 17 drivers set to take the start, maybe 16 if Kubo's connection doesn't hold up entirely. But there is no doubt in saying that this is unprecedented for Formula E. It is the jewel in the crown of the Formula E calendar. And God, am I excited for it. I'm joined, as always. No, you don't.
Yes,
Wow, Khan with the second fastest time right off the bat is crazy. Golemi on provisional, top of the group. Remember, it's still just the top 5 that go to Super Pole. 3-minute race. I'm joined, as always, by Nuno, I think.
yeah.
Oh, yes. Okay, good. Just checking. Nuno, I'm almost lost for words at this already, but I'd love to hear your preview on what's going to happen tonight.
I would say if there's a track where you need to focus, it's going to be this one, because there's a lot of left to right. It is a very short track, meaning that you're going to be repeating the same corners a lot of times, and you need to be on it the entire time. And yeah, that's I think the interesting part of it. So yeah, really need a lot of focus here. Also, simply a track where it's going to be hard to overtake. I think the final opportunity might simply come, I think, in turn 1, but I feel like you might also be able to do it on the airpad if you can get a good run into the exit of turn 1. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah, those sound like good takes to me. We've got Isto and Khan currently in the pit lane. Khan making his debut in Formula E. As is anyone else? Yes, Jonathan Fuchs making his debut in the league today as well. I think everybody else here has raced at least one race, so that's actually good. We've got a sort of Golemi.
He's in the pitch is going backwards.
Oh dear.
Or reversing. He's reversing.
That's very naughty. Very naughty indeed. Kada got disqualified from qualifying last time out for doing that. Well, he drove back the wrong way down the pit lane, which was a bit more of a safety hazard. Got the 2 trolleys in now.
No, he just reversed a little bit to enter the fix.
Okay, well,
He missed it at the end.
I'll leave it to your discretion as to what a little bit counts as. I've got the anti-amazing on for a top 10 qualifying that starts him from the 5th row of the grid. Girouni in the pit lane as our flicks and tricks. Oh god, I would love them to be teammates. That's such a cool name. Really short lap time here, so you can see Antti, who's our sort of leader on track, or Kubo, who now is going on to his 10th lap in what has only been about three and a little bit minutes in this qualifying session. So drivers absolutely churning through the laps. Kubo's connection still looking a little worse for wear. I'm not sure he'll make Super Pole this time, unlike he did, incredibly actually, in Long Beach. He did very well. He couldn't start the race in the end. Go on, Nina.
Got 100 in third place. He's just 200 behind the Saudi ones who have been obviously on fire this entire season. But yeah, we got also 100 up to second place now. Now 200 behind Harvey.
I said earlier, when Mark...
But Lobster still down 55.
Oh my gosh, I stole these words. This is huge. So he is now in the pit lane. We'll go to him if we can. Yes, there he is. He's now in the pit lane. He needs to set a time here, and a faster one at that, because he is, and I am almost in disbelief I'm saying this, on the verge of being knocked out in the group stages here in Monaco. He may well actually go out here. That would be just unbelievable for the man who has had a near perfect season. The first time that he didn't finish first in a race was all the way along in round 4 in Buenos Aires. Look at that! I stole these words. Provisionally is out, but now he's on pole. Brilliant improvement. Corvid up to second. Just as we thought we were going to get a big shock in this qualifying session, he has come and restored that rightful order. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. All these drivers will get the chance to finish their laps as Andres comes across the line to take the bows here, and the drivers will be able to finish. Corbett goes even faster, nearly dips below the 19-second mark. We've got a lot of drivers finishing their laps here. Any jumps up in the timing table? None so much that I can see. A few drivers behind, maybe those further back. Corvid on another fast lap, but I think these are pretty much our results. We'll get to the results screen. Lobster's stopped on the side of the track. Deary me. Maybe his dragon has broken down. We'll go to the results screen though, right now. And it will be going through to Superpole. Corvid, I stole these words. Andres, for his first time in Superpole. Lobster and UR. These 5 drivers will have 3 laps ahead of them to see who will take the prestigious Monaco ePrix pole position. The rest off the grid, and I cannot believe this, that we'll have so many drivers in the rest of the grid, about 6 rows worth of drivers. Gorlomi starts ahead of Gwetsley, who was just ahead of the anti-amazing, all Renault row 4. Jaruni ahead of Kraft, starting down in 10th. Khan on his debut starts ahead of the other debutant, Jonathan Furuks. Guziman starts 13th ahead of Flix, then it's Trixie, and Crunk will start 16th. Matimar, if he joins, will be P17 and last on the grid. We're ready to go now for Superpole. 5 drivers, 3 laps extended because of the short circuit. We're underway for Superpole. Corbin and Isto pretty even off the start. Corbin a slow starter with the ping there, but he'll get it back at the end. I have no doubt as they head into the hairpin. Which drivers get the better exits here? Looks like all pretty even Stevens, but Lobster and UR falling off just a little bit there. Andres goes shallow, but then gets a poor exit out of Raskas. He drops off the back of the front 2. It is I Stole These Words versus Corvid. All pole positions are worth 3 points in this league, but none more prestigious than that here in Monaco. Corvid and Isto side by side. They go through the swimming pool section. Corvid clips a little bit of grass. Isto hits the wall on the inside of Raskas. Corvid therefore gets the better exit and takes pole position. No, he doesn't, because there's one more lap. But still looks really... Sorry about that. But still looks really good. Isto has one more lap. Can he get a good exit? It's so close coming out of Anthony Noakes. It's impossible to call. Corvid by 2/10 takes pole position after no more than a second over a minute of racing here for Superpole. It will be Corvid, incredibly, who takes pole position. I Stole These Words. Second place, front row only. He got the fastest lap in the Superpole session, but did not take the victory. Incredible. Andres will start third, just ahead of UR, and then it is Red Lobster in the Dragon Racing Machinery. Wow, Nuno, your take on that?
It's interesting. I could see that Corey would oftentimes take more grass on that swimming pool chicane, but then he would gain by not having to brake as much as Stolly on the final 2 turns, so he would always have a better exit on that main straight and gain always more speed, and I think that could have maybe be the difference here. I feel like, but then you got obviously the rundown of that turn 1 in the first lap, which is going to be very, very crucial. And of course then the hairpin, which I think will certainly take a lot of position at the beginning, which will be very important because it's certainly going to be tricky to overtake on this track overall.
Well, 41 laps face these drivers. We'll see what they can do. Here we go then. 41 laps of the prestigious Monaco ePrix. And we're underway. It's an equal start from our 2 front drivers. Andres looking to get in there, provide some support to his teammate Corvid, but UR is through now into 3rd place as we get to the hairpin. A bit of chaos there. The Renaults on the inside. Anti gets held up and Khan gets a big roadblock going there. Looks like he's just round the outside of Krunk, who made up a couple spots. Antti now side by side with him. They go deep into Raskas, but up top it's Isto fending off Corvid for the time being. For how much longer as our two championship protagonists go side by side into the Nouvelle hairpin. Further back, Andres with a really wide line. That allows Jaruni, the track creator, to get in there and take the position. UR just behind Isto. The front three cross the line to start the third lap of what is a very long race here in Monaco. A short lap, but many of them to come. Andres up the inside of Jeru, goes wide, both of those drivers, and Jeru will be half of the way back in as they get to back through the swing pool chicane. It is Andres holding on to fourth. Two Andrettis are in the top four. Kraft, a DNS for this race for the Andretti team. So Guetzi back in that car. He goes up the inside of debutant Jonathan Furuch. Furuch? Maybe
Furuch.
Yes,
Furuch.
Okay. I was hoping Kuba could help me out with that. Guetzi ran the outside of Guzman, but he's put into the wall, and Trixie there as well, and Kronk, and it's all a bit of a concertina effect as they get held up coming out of that Nouvelle hairpin. It's Corvid in the race lead from I Stole These Words. Nuno, your thoughts on that start?
Yeah, Corvid didn't really have the best of starts, but lucky for him, he still managed to keep the lead, and that was certainly been crucial. Stoli still keeping it close, and yeah, we saw some drivers like Letzi. I think he got a bit of a crash on that hairpin, and then he really lost quite a few positions there, and now he's quite far back, running pretty well.
Absolutely right. You can see here, just as we go slightly down the order, and it is.
Also,
go on.
Also, Yoha here, keeping up with the top two as Corby makes a mistake.
Oh. This could be a bit of a Daniel Ricciardo-esque drive already. He is, I think, slightly holding up I Stole These Words. As it stands, Isto, though, a slightly wide line into Raskas. I'm not sure how much slipstream he'll be getting off Corvid right at the moment. You are very well holding on to third place. This would be his first podium in the league, I believe.
It seems he's lost some time, though, to Stoli.
I think it was a bit of a ping issue there with Stoli on the final turn.
Yeah,
and that's why he has lost the pack.
You can really tell it's shaken Yoa's concentration a little bit, but looks like he's going back into that.
Yeah, well, he's just ahead of Andres now. And oh yeah, look, Lobster and Antti down the inside, and Flix is out. Oh, Flix is gone. Lobster throwing Antti into the wall there. Really unfortunate for the Renault Edam's driver. Khan holding down 9th place at the moment. Lobster, his teammate, just 2 positions ahead of him. Yeah, UR's results in the league so far, a 10th, a 4th, and a 7th place. It came very close to the podium within a matter of tenths.
Ooh, 3 wide.
It was. Let's see this. Gorlomi, Chiruni, and Andres. Look at these drivers really giving it their all. Round the outside, Gorlomi is the victim of an amazing double overtake, but he's looking to get back up the inside, up the middle into turn 1, and he actually does that successfully. Meanwhile, the fight for the lead. Corvid and I Stole These Words were really close a second ago. This gap, still very tight-knit. These two drivers, anything can happen here. This is actually really one of those races, a bit like Buenos Aires, that looks to be an absolute thriller, a classic between our two juggernauts of Formula E. We've got Andres and Gorlomi going into the hairpin. Lots of runoff on the exit there for them to play with. Jaruni, then it's Lobster and Antti, then it's Khan and Guzman, and then Jonathan Furush. Go on.
Jeremy to move on Gorlomi, who made a mistake there on the final turn, and I think he may have got a big issue there on the first turn.
Unfortunately, looks to be the case. Corvid really just very tight ahead of Isto, and we've got our first pitter. It's Krunk in on his 11th lap of the race. He's taking those new tyres. That puts him down to last place, 19 seconds, and a lap behind the car ahead of him. Look at that, Trixie.
Ooh, Stoli tries inside.
Oh, Stoli looking really close at a move here. This is the battle that will ever rage on, and then I'll inevitably miss the moment where they finally do switch position, but this is looking really close. This is all going to be in the pit stops, and the pit stops here can be crazy. 17 to 24 is the range given. Krunk coming in on lap 11 for him means that he'll have to do 30 laps on that second stint. Isto looking really good. Will he try and make a move into the hairpin? Yes, he will. Will he make that move stick? Corvid fights back up the inside and he keeps the position. Just for now, that looks to be the first real effort, the real crumb thrown to Isto, but the
And
swerving has thrown him off. Lobster in. Go on, Nuno.
he says 30 shaken up Stolly now. He really messed up on the final sector, and now he has to try and make that time back to him.
That's right, it was the compromised line through to back even. I mean, going side by side on the entry of the hairpin literally knocked him all the way down to the final corners of the lap when he got a poor line through the swimming pool chicanes. That means Corvid has been gifted this lead of about a second. You are really not that far behind these drivers. Remember, drivers who come in and pit early, if they can put in some pretty good laps, and I think Lobster very much will do that once he gets up and running in that second stint in the second car.
And the other side of Gironi, there he goes up to P5.
Yes, he does. Look at that. Great move there. Antti up into 5th, Gironi and then Gorlomi down in 7th place. Now, this is a really tight battle in our upper midfield, and Andries doing incredibly well, holding on to 4th. He has one solitary finish so far in this league, a 6th place finish.
And the Goozy man with Gangu, I think that's Gang. Yeah, that's the name.
Can, everywhere you look battles. Gwetzley in on his 18th lap. We are well and truly into the pit window now. Lap 17 to 24, these drivers expected to come in. Gwetzley the latest to do so, and Lobster will go sailing through. Crunk maybe? No, sorry.
Gironi also into the pits.
Yes, and Corvid, crucially, Corvid is in from the race lead. Isto will try and stretch that advantage. This will all depend now on whether Corvid gets held up, because that would be absolutely huge if he does.
Stolly will answer now.
Khan goes through. That's a position that Corvid would desperately have not wanted to lose. Gorlomi and Gusiman into the pit lane, as are Jonathan, which means that he's actually pitted out ahead of a lot of people. There's not too many that are ahead of him now. Isto is into the pit lane. We'll track Corvid as he comes through. Khan hits the pit wall. It's Isto versus Corvid. Corvid flies up the main straight, and he does keep the lead of the Monaco ePrix. The overcut from Isto did not earn him track position, but these drivers still have a long way to go. UR and Antti have yet to pit. Andries is in now. Could these drivers play a factor? You can see Andries going slow through the lane. Isto about a second off Corvin in this enthralling fight for the race win. If somebody like Antti goes very long on that first stint, who's to say they wouldn't start holding up the Australian driver, and that could pay dividends. Go on.
Interesting that Antti, driver who is as fast, is now a lap down because Gironi has already pitted. And you can sort of see the difference between the fresh and new tires here between these two drivers.
You are a provisional driver for the Audi team when they get taken over next race by a mysterious buyer is in to the pit lane. Antti is your only runner in the race to not come into the lane. 14 drivers running 13 have been in and out to switch their car. Ewer will come out in 4th place, and that was previously held by Andries. Oh, no, sorry. No. Of course, because they were all a position higher because Anti's yet to come in. Sorry. Corvid still just ahead of Isto. Ewer, then March. Gironi is a lap behind Antti, or is about to be lapped by Antti, but Antti surely will be into the pit lane soon. He is a trier of unorthodox strategies. His 6 lap and then 22 lap stints in Buenos Aires proving an absolute dream for the Finn. Wow. I wonder what he's trying here. Nuno.
Yeah, interesting. Antti really extending that, and he's gonna pretty much be losing the positions back, I think, from Gorlomi and Gironi here. And but yeah, he should have better tires, but he's gonna have to do all the work again.
Absolutely. And Kubo?
He's in. I think if my eyes didn't mistake me, Antti hit a lap time of 20.15 on the lap before this one on his worn hards, while Corvid 20.08 on pretty fresh hards. So it's no wonder Antti goes for those strategies. They might prove quite fruitful sometimes. If you can hold on to that pace.
Absolutely. Look at the difference between the tyres of Antti, who's just come out of the pit lane, and Lobster, who is in on, I think, lap 14 for him, or something around that area.
15.
15. Crazy. Antti in 14 well, something like that, 12 laps afterwards is insane. Isto with a slightly fresher tyre over Corvid.
Fastest lap.
Oh, Khan with the fastest lap. Look at that. That would surely be the fastest lap, the first fastest lap for the Dragon team, the all-Turkish lineup. and now a Turkish reserve in Khan.
Who was he man on Gletzy there with the move for P9?
Yeah, just ahead
He
there.
had better
Gwetzli,
tires.
slightly disappointing for Gwetzli this race so far. He's a man who's been capable of getting podiums and top 4, top 5 finishes in this league. He finds himself stuck down right in the mid-pack. What are the other close battles? We've got Antti just behind Gorlomi, but again, look at the tyre difference. Look at what Antti will have in grip over Gorlomi, who sweeps around the outside to back, and Gorlomi just doesn't have the grip to fight him on those much, much older hard tyres. Antti coming through like somebody's lit a rocket under his ass, and he really didn't lose that much time relative to the cars he was fighting before, Jaruni and Gorlomi, because he did really, really well there. The gap's still about a second between our two leaders. Isto with a nice little line through there closes it to 7/10. This could get very fiery towards the end as Corvid's tyres fall off, and Isto, if he can hang in there and try and send one final move down the inside in 8 laps time, we can only speculate for now. UR ahead of Andries, still all the field separated by about a second there or thereabouts from some driver. We've got Jonathan in his first race in 12th place ahead of FE regular Crunk in the TCR car today. Trixie unfortunately just bashes the wall there, but he's doing very well to race with a broken finger or some kind of injury to his hand at the moment, and he's braved it and he's stepped in the car anyways, and this is the grit, determination shown by these drivers and their pure love for the Formula E League. Look at how close this is up top. Go on, Nuno.
Yes, still he has the better tires, but he also knows that the job of overtaking Corby is not going to be easy. Remember Buenos Aires, where he also had to pass the Australian, but it was just impossible. He tried on the inside of turn 1 on that race, but it did not work, so let's see what can the British driver do this time.
It'll be really interesting to see when he'll go for that move. Oh, look at this. He goes for it now. But he really gets Corvid, just is able to hold him off. It's a bit of a Sisyphus task to try and get past the Australian. He sees himself further ahead. Look at this, side by side. Stoley with a great exit. Will Corvid give him room on the exit? Just squeezed him a little bit there, and Stoley is forced to drop back. They take the cut well. Stoley still in slipstream range. There is nothing saying that these drivers have to finish in this position come the end of the race. But for now, it's Guzziman, I think, has dropped back from Lobster. They were battling earlier. Stoley is really closing in. We have 3 laps to go up top here in this amazing inaugural Formula E Monaco ePrix with the biggest qualifying grid we've ever had for sure. We had a few non-starters to the race, but 14 drivers set to finish. Isto, I think, takes a little bit too much wool there. 2 laps to go. Can he take the win? He really needs to close the gap in the championship. 2 DNSs that he has this season, and Corvid has very much taken up the slack in those races where Stoley hasn't been present. He's tried, and he really has to get past, but with just 1 lap to go, as Corvid heads onto the 41st and final lap of the Monaco ePrix. It's a second and a half. Isto looks to have given up the chase here. Corvid on a victory lap in the Andretti car. About 10 seconds separates him from the checkered flag, the jewel in the crown of the Formula E calendar. Corvid wins the Monaco ePrix. Isto will have to settle for second in the end, and UR takes his first ever podium for the Audi team, undergoing so much difficulty at the moment. That will mean the world to him and them. It's Jeru who takes 5th. It was Antti just behind in 6th in the end. Gorlomi takes 7th. Lobster with a very early pit stop will come home. It looks like just ahead of Guzziman. Unless no, you can't be doing that. He slubs Guzziman into the wall. He can appeal that very fairly. Guzziman, then Gwetzli. And then we're going to have...
moved up.
Oh, yes, we've got a little issue with the timing screen. Khan has been moved up. Jonathan Farus also moved up. And then it's still Trixie and Kronk running out on the track, but we have the video footage anyway, so the rendered results will show the correct order as they came across the line. It will be Trixie comes home 13th ahead of Kronk in the end. Gwetzli and Guzziman, really? Oh yes, okay, they're back. Okay, Guzziman and then Gwetzli on the edge of the points. And this is, I believe, the first time we've ever had this, drivers can score 2 points from the fastest lap of the race, they do not have to finish in the points in the race to do so. So drivers could, if they're outside of the points, take the softs, slap in the fastest lap. He hasn't done that, but he has taken the fastest lap. He'll therefore score a point more than the driver ahead of him. But going back up to the top, after 13 minutes and 55 seconds of racing here in Monaco, Corvid takes the so prestigious Monaco ePrix victory for the Andretti team. Then it's I Stole These Words and UR and Audi on the podium for the very first time. Andries then Girouni, Antti then Gorlomi, Lobster just ahead of Gussiman, who may well appeal that at the very end, and then Guetzli takes the final points playing position, but not the last points. Khan in P11, 2 points for the fastest lap. He finishes ahead of Jonathan, and those drivers very unlucky not to get points on their debut. They put in very respectable race performances. Trixie and Krunk 13th and 14th, and Flicks a DNF for the Audi team. Mixed day for them. Wow, the race, I mean, took a while to get going, both on track and in terms of our timing. But Nuno, I'll ask for your rundown on that, because that was incredible.
Yeah, I did feel like that I Stole These Words had better pace than Corey, but Corey's Super Pole was so important because he kept the track position, which was very crucial at the start. Even though he had a bit of a slow start, but he managed to get back that lead. And still he really did not manage to pass him. And then of course he tried the overcuts, and it almost worked, but once again he just couldn't get what would have been a very, very hard overtake. In the meantime, we got Yoha taking first right at the start. He was keeping up with the first two guys, but then he had a bit of a ping issue there on the final turn, which then just dropped him back. What I can remember was also Antti had already passed Korwami and Gironi. He then made that overcut, which I don't think really worked well because he ended up losing the position to Gironi in the end.
Yeah, I think that's right. He was very much in that pack. I was surprised that he came back out in it, but the difficulty of the overtake is so much. And it looked like in the end, the sort of 1 lap difference on the tyres between Corvid and Isto it wasn't 1 lap, but it was a little bit more than that. Didn't make too much of a difference in terms of being able to overtake on this track. But we will go to our race winner, Corvid. You weren't necessarily looking forward to this one coming into it, but I think you'll probably be quite pleased with that result.
Yeah, I mean, I can't. Near faultless weekend, thankfully. It was very difficult getting everything right every lap, and I was very worried about the gap, probably too much. It probably affected my driving today. I solely won that race because of the undercut. It was just so strong. And it helped that I opened the gap out the lap before my in-lap as well. So I got that. I got an extra bit of extra gap through the undercut and I was able to hold on.
Yeah. Well, great result for you. Double top 4 for the Andretti team, I think for the first time this season. That's pretty amazing. Looks to be good for the championships.
I'm so happy that Mart's come in and just drove a very nice, solid race. Couldn't get the podium, but that's all good. P4 is still a bunch of points.
Yeah.
Gonna be very helpful.
Great job from you guys, well done. We will go next to I Saw These Words. Isto, it looked almost exactly a repeat of Buenos Aires. He had the pace, it looked like, at certain points in the race, but just couldn't find a way past.
Yeah, a little bit like that. Had a pretty good start actually, but I think, again, because Corvid's seen himself ahead of me, it's hard to sort of have like be a car length ahead, because he probably thinks he's a car length ahead on his screen, so just very difficult to hold that in that circumstance. And then, yeah, a couple of mistakes kind of let the gap go a little bit, so that was a bit frustrating. And he did kind of call my bluff a little bit on the undercut, so props to him for that. You know, that's a good call, and that kind of gave him track position, because I think if I had it, I probably... Well, having said that, he said he was making mistakes because he was, having me straight behind him probably caused him to make a few mistakes, so maybe I would have done the same. So, we are pretty evenly paced, and, that's just the nature of it. And did try a lot harder than I did in Buenos Aires to get past, and which where the gap was kind of fluctuating a little bit, because I was just sort of diving up the inside and just hoping to sort of make it stick, but not to be. But also, props to you of P3. That's an excellent result, on the back of basically no practice. So,
Thank you.
no worries, Paul.
Yeah, it looked interesting. I mean, especially, you get the run out of turn 1 and go for the hairpin overtake into turn 2, and it looked like that sort of the momentum from that. You get a bad line through the swimming pool, you get a bad exit out of Raskas that hurts you all the way back through to turn 1 on the next lap. So
Yeah, but I also think that Covid had a better line coming out of Raskas. I was kind of going fast through the chicanes, and Corvid was kind of better through Raskas and into the first corner. He did make a couple of mistakes on that, but like predominantly he was better there, so that made it more difficult. It meant I could kind of get the run on him to the hairpin, but again, it's so hard to overtake at the best times in these cars.
So would you have considered then, if you had a faster line through the chicanes, to go for the Raskas overtake as your number one priority?
Yeah, I did try it a couple of times, but again, you just get stopped, because I saw him make a couple of mistakes out of the chicane, but you throw it up the inside, and his car's already out the corner in his screen, and you get stopped on yours. So it's you try, but it's just really difficult to actually pull it off.
And I mean, Guetzel maybe not too much of a factor in the race, but is there ever the consideration in a race like this, have a little chat in the Virgin garage beforehand, right? If I'm held up by Corvid, I need you to go along, hold him up a little bit, and let me through. Anything like that?
No, I don't think so. I mean, last race was good with Kraft being second, because it meant I had like a buffer, so kind of get more points that way. But I'm not going to ask the guys to hold Corvid up unnecessarily. For that,
Right. Well, we'll see when it gets to a point of the season when the championship's on the line. Good race, mate. Well done.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
And we will go to UR as well. UR third place. A great drive. You looked much closer to the front two than to anybody else in today's race. And I had a little message from the prospective buyer of the Audi team saying that UR is one of his 2 candidates for the seat. So I think you might get it.
Ooh, that would be pretty intriguing, I must say.
Not a bad way to
yeah,
start.
it was not a bad way to start at all. The seat felt kind of comfortable compared to some of the other cars I've been in. So that definitely played a factor. But I will say I did get a little bit of practice before coming in, because I didn't want to end up at the back, and it helped. It helped because if you were up there in quali, you had a much better chance. So I did a quick practice run, and it helped definitely with consistency, because from the word go, I felt like I didn't make too many mistakes and kept composed. I tried to pass Stoli a few times. I think it was a bit tricky because, of course, he had Covid ahead of him. So it was a bit tricky to navigate that. But regardless, I'm quite happy. I actually had an incident where my dad came in and greeted me as I was taking the final corner, and then I lost sight of the track, so I hit the pitfall. So that was quite funny. But so far, that's been my best race, and I'm happy about that.
Yeah, well, a good rundown, definitely. And a great race from you. Well done.
Thank you.
And sorry, just to ask, what are we calling a little bit of practice? Was it 100 laps, 200?
No, actually, it was a 24-lap hard stint just to see how the tires felt. And yeah, that was pretty much it. That was pretty much it. Came in fresh, left a little bit better, and at least got a podium. So I'm glad about that.
Congratulations, mate. Finally, we will go.
And congratulations. Sorry,
for
Skip.
it.
I also want to say congrats to the front two as well because it was an entertaining little fight there. I was closing it at the end, but I was too far back.
Would you
But
have gone for
Crawford
it?
did a great job with the undercut.
Would you have
Oh, I
sent
would
it?
have gone for it. You absolutely bet. I would have gone for that one. But it would have
Brilliant.
obviously been tricky. And Sterling, of course, so close. But solid job from both regardless. Great drives.
Well, we might just see you join the championship fight in the races to come.
Hopefully.
We will go finally to Mart. Mart, not quite your debut, but your only second race in this league. You've come back, you've put yourself in your own car and put yourself 4th position after taking 3rd on the grid as well. What a race.
Yeah, thank you. I trained on this yesterday with Stoli, with Lobster and Golami. That's a big reason why this result came to place.
Yeah? And how did the race go in your eyes? Was there any real threat from Jaruni and Tingolomi behind, or pretty plain sailing?
Well, I was thinking about last race. In where the heck was that? I think Chile or something. Yeah, could be.
Somewhere in South America, yeah.
Yeah, something there. And there, the bug that was like seconds behind someone when I literally was overtaking that person on my screen. And I thought the same happened to Droney, but that's the only thing I was dealing with.
Right. Well, very well raced from you, mate. Good for the Andretti team as well. Can you take it to the Virgins come the end of the season?
Yeah, thank you. We'll try to make the fight. And good job for your commentating.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Got it going
Thank
in the end. On that bombshell, thank you so much for watching what has been a incredible Monaco ePrix. It took a while to get going, but really did deliver in the end. We will be back next week for the Berlin ePrix at the Tempelhof circuit, the Season 1 layout. Should be a very interesting race, very cool track running through the airfield. But for now, bye-bye.